Assalamualaikum Warahmatullahi Wabarakatuh. My name is Yusuf Nafiis Kelanit from class 5A, and in today's video I'd like to present my findings about chapter 5 from the book Teaching English as a Second or a Foreign Language from Chelsea Murcia, specifically chapter 5 or unit 5 that talks about skills for teachers. So without further ado, I will get straight to the first slide or the first subheadings, that is planning lessons or lesson plan. So for a quick rundown, a lesson plan functions as both a map, a flexible tool. It clarifies your immediate learning aims, sequences the stages of the lesson, specifies materials and timing, and prepare you for likely problems. Start by naming one or two concrete objectives, what students should be able to do by the end, then activate prior knowledge. With a short lead-in before moving through presentation, control practice, and freer production. Good lesson plans describe procedures in enough detail to keep the class moving. Include quick checks for learning and note anticipated errors with simple fixes, but they remain adaptable so you can respond to students in the moment. For after the lesson, a brief reflection, what worked and what to change, completes the planning cycle and improves future lessons. For the second subheadings, I'd like to explain about textbooks, specifically evaluation and implementation. Textbooks often provide a useful organizational backbone, but they should be treated critically and adapted to fit learners' real needs. When you evaluate a book, look for alignment with your students' goals, balanced practice across the 4 skills, clear progression, cultural appropriateness, and the ease with which activities can be modified. Implementation means using the textbooks as a flexible framework rather than a script. Keep the activities that genuinely engage the learners, adapt or localize content that feels irrelevant, supplement with authentic texts, then books is artificial, and transform mechanical exercises into communicative tasks so students practice language meaningfully. Communicating these choices to students why you kept change or replace on activity. It helps build rapport and motivation. So moving on to the next slide or the subheadings, I'd like to again explain about when the teacher is a non-native speaker. So this subheading specifically refers to the teacher's ability to not be able to speak their L2, or in this case is an English language. Being a non-native speaker or English does not diminish a teacher's value. In many respects, it brings distinct pedagogical strengths. Non-native teachers often have heightened empathy for learner struggles, so it can offer clearer L1 aware or language 1 awareness explanations or grammar and common transfer errors, and model the process of language learning in a realistic way. Although concerns and pronunciations or idiomatic fluency are common, the emphasis should be on intelligibility and effective communication rather than accent elimination. Practically, non-native teachers can leverage bilingual knowledge for quick comparisons, explicitly strategy instruction, and targeted error anticipation, and where possible collaborate with colleagues to provide complementary models and resources. So moving on to the next subheadings, that is building awareness and practical skills for cross-cultural communication. Teaching language without attention to pragmatics, culture risks producing students who are grammatically correct but socially misread or socially inept. Therefore, teaching must include how language varies by context, register, and politeness norms. The teacher's role is to raise pragmatic awareness by helping learners notice differences in formally directness and conversational routines, to contrast L1 and L2 or language 1 and language 2 conventions when relevant, and to give structured practice in speech acts such as requests, refusals, apologies, and compliments. Classroom techniques that work well include role plays with clear situational cues, comparison tests that rank alternative expressions by formality, and reflective discussions about real misunderstandings. Though these activities, learners develop not just language forms but the social judgment to use them appropriately. So moving on to the last subheadings, that is the use of media in language teaching. Media from simple realia and pictures to audio, video, online resources enriches lessons by providing authentic multimodal input that contextualizes vocabulary and discourse and motivates learners. The key is pedagogical selection. Choose media that serve a clear learning purpose, prepare students with previewing tasks, then that activate schemata and set a focused task. Present the media with a specific listening or reading goal, and follow up with activities that move from comprehension to productive use, such as discussions, summaries, or role play. Be mindful of learners' levels and cultural sensitivities. Always have low tech backups when technology fails, and integrate media in a way that supports your objectives rather than distracting them. So before we end the video, I'd like to do a quick conclusion. So each of these areas, planning, textbook use, the strengths of non-native teachers, pragmatic competence, and media integrations, emphasized intentionally and reflection. Plan carefully, adapt materials thoughtfully, teach with awareness and cultural meaning, and use the media to deepen rather than replace learning. So in other words, we should use media as a support rather than a replacement substance. I think that's all from my explanation. I'm sorry if there is any mistake. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.